contact sport. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and all of a sudden that individual becomes very significant in your life. One of the slides that was on here today had a fellow named Craig Merrill in it. Craig Merrill was a resident here. He later became a partner of mine in our plastic surgery practice in Norfolk, Virginia. At one time in Norfolk, Virginia, we had 13 of us in practice together. It was the largest plastic surgery group in the country at the time. And it was just a gift of all these different talented people, all with different objectives. And during that time, Craig was new to the game, but he added so much to our practice, and little did I know how much he would add with his contacts and association to our life. Kathy and I began Operation Smile in 1982, and it was by chance. It was a fact that selfishness, in a way, because I wanted to become better at cleft lip and cleft palate work. And I had a dental degree and a medical degree and 17 years of my education after high school, and I was a slow learner, to put it very simply. But it was incredible, the people that we met along the way. In 1978, I went into practice. In 1982, I was given an opportunity to go to the Philippines to take care of kids with cleft lip and cleft palate. And because my interest was the craniofacial surgery, I thought this is a great opportunity. So I said to Kathy, you want to go with me to the Philippines? She said, sure, I'd love to. She had a nursing degree and was just, in her heart, a public health nurse. And then we have 5 kids, and our oldest child at the time was 13. She was a wonderful, wonderful kid, and we figured we'd take the burden off Kath's parents, who came down to watch our 4 other kids. And so Bridget went with us to the Philippines. And in that time that she went there with us, and in the time that we were there, we took care of 40 kids in Naga City in the Philippines, but turned away over 250. And I tell you, that was one of the more powerful moments in our life, because I went there just to become better at doing cleft lip and cleft palate work. It was totally selfish. But on our way out, there was a lady who came up to us with a ripe basket of bananas cradled in her arms. Her 8-year-old daughter at her side with a big hole in her lip. And she took these bananas and she said, I wanted to give these to you as a gift, but it's the only thing that I have, but I wanted to give you a gift for trying to take care of my daughter, even though we had turned her daughter away. And all we could say was maybe next year, but there was no next year. The group that we were with wasn't going back. And so this lady had tears coming down her cheeks, we had tears coming down ours. And I think that it was at that moment that Operation Smile was born. Because I've learned over the years that reason leads to conclusions, but it's emotion that leads to action. And once you feel something that tugs at your sleeve, that puts a tear in your eye, you don't forget it. And it was those moments that led us to go back, get a group of our friends, to go back to the Philippines to help us to take care of kids. And that's where Craig Merrill became involved with us. Craig Merrill became a volunteer with us along the way. And who did Craig Merrill know? Craig Merrill knew Bob Russell. And Bob Russell then became involved with us. And this young man went on about 30 plus trips with us around the world to take care of children. Nobody was paying him a dime to do that. He did it because his heart and soul were meant to take care of people. And he did it with an incredible, incredible integrity. And everybody loved him. He started out maybe in Kenya, I think it was, but with 30 trips around it, he added so much to the organization and to each and every individual who could associate with him during those moments. And I tell you, I will never forget it. Now, all of us know that there's plenty of things that we could show about Craig, and then also about Bob. Everybody knows that you can get pictures that show that he's an educator, that he can stand up in front of a crowd, that he can motivate people that are in the audience, and he can tell them things to do. Everybody knows that he can relate very, very well to people. But I can tell you the effects of that, the long-term effects of that, are what really, really matters. So let me give you a kind of example, if I could, of that. We were the first Americans to go to Vietnam after the war. I had my 25th high school reunion in New York City. I went to Fordham Prep in the Bronx. We had a 25th reunion on the East River. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was sharing some beers with buddies of mine in the place where we were having the event. And one of my high school classmates came up to us and said, "Bill, would you do me a favor?" He said, "The Vietnamese won't talk to us, and the bodies of our dead soldiers are over in Vietnam and they won't return them." He said, "I think that it'd be pretty cool if you could bring Operation Smile to Vietnam, because I think maybe they would talk to us then." This buddy of mine, John Connor, was there at the time. He's the guy that came up to me. He's the guy that asked me that. I said, "John, I'd be glad to if I can." He said, "Well, I know General Vesey, who was the head of the Joint Chiefs at the time under Ronald Reagan." He said, "I'll get General Vesey to come down and meet with you." General Vesey came down to Norfolk, Virginia, met with us, and in the summer of 1988, we took our first trip to Vietnam, 5 of us. My buddy, John Connor, myself, 3 other people, one of them being my 17-year-old son, who was a pure hellion, and I had to get him out of the house to save his life. So we went off to Bangkok, got our visas through Bangkok, and went into Vietnam. Met with all the government officials, had a great time. We were in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, then up in Hanoi, met with the people, and ended up, the long and the short of it was, is got an invitation in February of 1989 to go to Vietnam for the first time. We went to Vietnam, operated on about 150 kids in the time we were there. I will never, ever forget it, because my buddy John Connor at that time had developed an Agent Orange lymphoma, and he couldn't come with us on that trip. And I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that it wasn't Bill Magee that was there or Operation Smile. It was because of John Connor. So I was speaking to the employees of the hospital, and I started to tell the story of John calling me and telling me that he couldn't come. And as I did, my throat tightened and I couldn't speak. Tears were just pouring down my cheeks. And the head of the Vietnamese doctors stood up and he said, "You know, my father died in the war. My brother died in the war. Isn't it time that we put the war behind us and get on with our lives?" And I will never, ever forget that moment, because I really believe that children are the one thing that will bring our world together. Nobody is prejudiced against a child. A child's not black, white, Asian, Latino, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, Hindu. A child is a child. And when we all work together to help a child, we develop relationships. Those relationships are powerful. How do I know? I know because 3 months after we left that trip, the missing in action bodies started coming back to the United States. That's what caused it, was working together to help the children in Vietnam. Now, why do I say that? It's because I know that over the years, those are the things that Operation Smile has used to grow. Lee Duc Anh was the president of Vietnam at the time, and a number of years ago, he passed away. And the Vietnamese did a video of his life. And in that video, they said that Lee Duc Anh wasn't a usual leader. He didn't govern by politics. He governed through children. And in fact, he is the one that reestablished the relationship with the United States through children and through Operation Smile. He's the one that said that. And so I really figured out, well, what's going on today? Now, how does that affect each and every one of us who have included our families in it? Well, it affects because that 17-year-old son of mine, 20 years later, he and his wife are having trouble having kids. And they decided to adopt a child. And where did they decide to adopt that child? From Vietnam. That little girl is 17 years old today, beautiful little kid, plays the guitar in a band, is on the varsity volleyball team in high school. Where would that son of mine be? Where would we be as grandparents if it wasn't for that trip to Vietnam, if it wasn't for plastic surgery? Now, why do I bring that up about Bob? Because Bob came time and time and time and time again to volunteer with us in Vietnam. Why did he do it? To teach microsurgery to the Vietnamese. Now, he's operated on the clefts also, but he is the one with Craig Merrill who evidently taught the Vietnamese how to do it. Let me show you a little video of the implications of that. And it's just how just say yes.
It's amazing watching that. The miracle with Operation Smile is every day. I remember walking in, Melanie grabbing my hand urgently, strangely surreal, tired from the days of operating. A devastating accident, insurmountable issues seemingly. What could we do? What was required? How could we do it? My mind ticking and torturing as we walked in. There she sat, a strange resignation in her eyes. The hair stripped from her head. The gasps from nurses and doctors alike as the dressings removed revealed a skull. The dryness clearly evident. The skull slowly dried and died. The son looked desperately at us, his palms humbly clenched, his head bowed, begging for his mother's life and welfare. No emotional cries, just a respectful, silent plea. Whatever comes our way, all we can say is yes. Yes, we can try. A phone call to Jimmy Green. Yes, we can do it. A phone call to plastic surgery colleagues we have never met. Yes, we can operate. A chat to the Vietnamese surgeon from Hanoi who was working with us. Yes, we can send her. But there are visa problems. She has no passport. She's so poor. Yes, the government officials will help us. But she can't fly. Yes, the ambulance from the hospital will drive her. It will take us 24 hours. But yes, we will accompany her all day, all night. We don't have the money. Team Laos, raise that money. Just say yes. A wave of energy and emotion carried her to where she needed to be. So often in our lives, we are powerless. Today, we are powerful. To change the life of another for the soul. To do all we can to make it happen. One life changed. That's all. How precious is one life? And how much more does that one life affect other lives? Even more however. Not thanks to any one person, but thanks to a collective energy. What an amazing thing to watch it happen. It was going to happen. A chain of hands that passed this dear woman from the place where she would have been left to die, to the place where strangers could help her, just because there was a need to do something. That's what life's about. Thanks, Operation Smile. Another life changed. No names, strange faces, and love.
Now, why do I show you that? Is because if it wasn't for Bob Russell, time after time after time, going to Vietnam and training those people to do microsurgery, which they had never done before, that woman would have never been able to survive. But more than that, if it wasn't for people like Bob who came to our theoretic enemy and were there through children to create a relationship, United States and Vietnam would not have the relationship it does today. Children are the one force that can bring us all together, and we should never forget it. Today, we're in about 35 countries around the world. We've been to every place that theoretically is our enemy, and we do fine there, because we never talk about politics or religion. We just talk about children. And I think that what we all can learn from the example of Bob is that if we focus on kids, then our world will have a chance to come together. And we should use that moment to our benefit. So let me ask Kath to come up here, because she has just gotten a letter from the Vietnamese to Bob that she can read to us, and their sense of appreciation for all that he gave to them.
Yeah, so this is from our executive director, Viet, and team over there, dear Dr. Russell. Greetings from Vietnam as you embark on this well-deserved retirement. We are filled with immense gratitude and admiration for the remarkable journey you have had with us over these years. 35 missions you participated, particularly ones in Vietnam, not only bringing hope, healing to those in need, but also made a lasting impact on the countless lives around the world. Your commitment to serve others has been nothing short of inspiring. Additionally,
Here it is.
Additionally, your decade-long effort traveling back and forth to Vietnam to teach your fellows with microsurgery techniques that left incredible milestones on the medical community here. Your expertise and willingness to share your knowledge have empowered countless professionals and improved the quality of care for many patients in Vietnam. Your contributions have gone beyond the realms. Oh, come on. Can you move that up?
No, just finish it, yeah, and then the
Contributions have gone beyond the realms of medicine, touching hearts and changing lives. We are profoundly grateful for your unwavering dedication and legacy you left behind here. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have Bob. Where are you?
Here he is. Bob, we have something to give you because we love you. And we want to, in a way, leave that with you. And if we could bring that up. Yeah.
Lauren has our goodies. So this
Come on up
is,
here with us.
Another group that joined us. The Yadro produced these pieces, and this is one they have given and produced for us. So it's the globe with children on either side, and we thank you. So these are all done in Valencia, Spain, and this is a very unique piece for us, given to you. Just especially, we only have a few, so thank you.
Here we are. Let me see, get in between us here. Okay. We are honored to do this, to give this to you.
Name tag. I don't like photos like that.
And to say to you, thank you, and thank the community that's around you that enabled you to grow to who you are. And you will never be forgotten by Operation Smile or by the thousands of people that you have affected around the world. And a thanks and a tribute from the American people to help us reestablish relationships with not only Vietnam, but so many other countries around the world. God bless you. We love you.
I really appreciate it.
He was always fighting for you to be there. I talked to the country, he's like, come on, Kat, make it happen. So anyway, we are so glad because you produced the future, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's really an honor for me to have these guys come. This doesn't happen all the time, you know. They're really busy and they're still doing their thing. And these are some of the best of us, these two. So I'll tell you a couple funny stories from Vietnam if you want. The first time we went there, we were doing Cleft Lip, and we stayed at the Hoa Bien Hotel. Remember that? Yeah. And so where's the bathroom in there? So it's a hole in the floor, and the shower is right above it, so you could do whatever you want and take a shower at the same time. It was really great. And then Mike and I went there on one of these teaching missions, and we were doing cadaver dissections and giving talks. And I said, these guys all understand English, right? Oh yeah, no problem. So we could tell that they weren't completely getting it. So the guy in the front said, how about I'll translate. Okay, the guy was an old guy, but all right. So he translates our talks. And he did that for 3 days. And he said, you want to come over to my hospital and see some of my patients? I said, well, he's more humor, this old guy. I'll go over there. Well, this guy was the father of microsurgery in Vietnam. He's like Harry Bunky. So we had a Chinese guy with us that described a heel flap, you know, the cerebral artery flap. So went over there, first patient we looked at, oh, that's good, because they have a lot of motorbikes, they get that injury a lot. So how many of these be done? I said, oh, 200 or 300. What? Really? Yeah. And the Chinese guy had only done like 10 or something. So then we see another patient. What's this patient? Oh, this is a nerve graft, intercostal nerve graft to the arm with a free serratus muscle transfer for what? You did what? So I told Mike, this guy is way better than us. I don't know why don't you let him teach these guys? And he was probably translating, saying, you know, this guy just said this, but probably, here, let me tell you what it really is. Of course, we didn't know, but anyway, this guy was a tremendous microsurgeon, and the problem was his patients were in the basement of the hospital around the parking garage because he was on the wrong team during the war. He was still allowed to practice, but in the basement. So a lot of interesting things we've had experience with Operation Smile. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, these two guys should get the Nobel Prize in medicine. That's all right.
Thank you. This is yours. So
Another picture.
let me say that it is an honor for Kathy and I to be here with you all to celebrate this young man and to always use his image and his thoughts and his heart and soul to share with the world. Thank you very much.
They want another picture.
Oh, okay.
And I know this is not at all about me today, but this is a very special moment for me, so I'd appreciate it if we could take a picture.
Sure.
She went with me on the last trip.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, on the very last trip.
Yeah. We need to put the young one between us so we don't fall down.
Yeah, there you go.
They do want to get a group photo of everybody that's been on a mission,
Oh.
whether you were a photographer, a nurse, or anything with me, so.
Yeah, let's do that. You want to do it later?
At the end of the day.
I was gonna do a break, as people break for lunch.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They can come back.
Okay.
Cool.
Done. Thank you.
Do you want to carry that, or do you want me to put it back in the box?
I could use a hand. I don't want to, last thing I want to do is fall down these steps.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I gotta turn you off here. All right, you're good.
Thanks.
That's great. And on your collar. All right. On your